Well, hello everyone. I am back today because it is January. It's everyone's favorite time of the year for movies. January, obviously, as we know as film lovers, January the best and most quality films are released back to back to back. These are always the movies that are reflected on around Oscar season. January, just a plethora of incredible cinema. No, in all actuality, it's a shit show in January. A lot of garbage is released this month and it's always slim pickings. But every now and again, I see a trailer and think, oh, this might not be the greatest movie ever, but I should enjoy myself in one way or another. And with this movie in particular, I saw that it was a Blumhouse production, which whenever I'm getting into a Jason Blum joint, I know I'm either going to be pleasantly surprised or horribly disappointed. And in this movie, I had no idea what to expect. A movie about a haunted swimming pool. It's ridiculous. It sounds really stupid, but I went and checked it out anyway. And the film I'm going to be talking to you guys about today is Night Swim. Night Swim is directed by Bryce McGuire. Forced into early retirement by a degenerative illness, former baseball player Ray Waller moves into a new house with his wife and children. He hopes that the backyard swimming pool will be fun for the kids and provide physical therapy for himself. However, a dark secret from the home's past soon unleashes a malevolent force that drags the family into the depths of inescapable terror. So, as I said, a lot of things going against this movie. It's a January film. It's a Blumhouse production. It has a very silly premise, but I went into it with an open mind. This movie is terrible, but, and there's a big but here, it has a lot of entertaining moments, and it also dips into so bad it's good territory multiple times. I'm not saying that it's going to be like a cult classic or a so bad it's good movie that people reflect on years and years down the line. I don't think it's that quality, but it is so entertainingly bad, and there are so many moments in this movie that I found myself laughing, that despite the fact that it's poorly made, the script is really terrible, most of the movie is nonsensical, there are moments in it so ridiculous that'll make you laugh, that make the film worth watching at least one time, and I'm excited to tell you about it today. Night Swim tells us the story of Ray Waller, played by Wyatt Russell, and Eve Waller, played by Kerry Condon, who have two children, a boy and a girl, and Ray was a baseball player for the Milwaukee Brewers, and he was diagnosed with this illness which caused him to go into early retirement. He was not able to continue his baseball career, and he does want to try to get himself healthy enough to be able to play again, but the doctors are relatively skeptical, and so for the time being, he's just trying to spend time with his kids, trying to spend time with his wife, and just find out what he can do with his life without baseball. And so they're out house hunting in Minnesota, looking for a new place for the family to settle down, and they find this house with a swimming pool, and we see a flashback at the beginning of the movie of a little kid drowning in the swimming pool, so we know something supernatural is going to happen. So the family decides to move into this house, and every single time they get into the swimming pool, something weird happens. They see something or they hear something, and the entire film is the family trying to figure out what is going on with the swimming pool and how to stop whatever it is in the swimming pool that is terrorizing their family. So as I said, this movie is bad. It is terrible. The screenplay is awful. Most of the movie is nonsensical. It's cheap. It's lazy. But it's hilarious. There are a lot of moments that are so poorly written and so stupid that it makes the film entertaining. And for starters, I just want to talk about the pacing of this thing. It's over an hour and a half, and it is way too long. There are so many sequences in this movie that just feel like the same recycled scenes of a person getting into the swimming pool. They'll do like cutaways, they'll do fake outs, all to get to a jump scare that's relatively unsatisfying. And that is Blumhouse's formula when it comes to these jump scare laden films, where it's like, put a person in a setting where something's going to pop out at them, and you know they're going to look one way, they're going to look the other way, they're going to see something out of the corner of their eye, and then something eventually is going to pop up. That is 99% of the formula of this film, and it gets really tiresome after a while. The dialogue in this movie is absolutely abysmal. But, and I say this with a large but, the bad dialogue is what makes the movie entertaining. There are so many moments in this where it's just so silly. There's something going on with the pool, and I don't want to get too much into spoiler territory, but something about the pool makes our lead character feel healthier. And there's a sequence where he goes to hit baseballs for his son's elementary school baseball team, and he misses like the first three swings, and it's like, I've got to prove to these elementary school kids that as a former Major League Baseball player, I've still got it. And he hits this home run and like breaks this light and rips the stitching out of the baseball. And it is the most ridiculously silly and stupid scene. There's a scene where a character is being chased by another character in the movie, and they're saying, Marco, Marco, and someone jumps out from around the corner and says, you didn't say polo. Like, so many stupid dialogue sequences that just come across as hilarious. The daughter has a love interest in the movie, and he's a part of the Christian swim team at their middle school or their high school or whatever. And she invites him over to swim while the parents are out away doing something. And something horrifying happens, and the two of them end up kissing, and there's like a pool party at their house the next day, and these girls are asking her about it, and the girls are like, oh, and he's a Christian, so because he smooched you, it's so much more spicy. And there's so many stupid ass lines of dialogue in this movie that made me laugh so hard that I almost cried. The other funny part about this film is it has no idea what it wants to be. I still, after the movie was over, am asking myself, what exactly is this movie? Is it a redemption story about a person who had this career, but they have this family who loves them, and they don't need to worry about losing the career because they're going to have the family? Is it a haunted pool movie? When you finally start to figure out what is going on with the pool, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's really stupidly written in the way that like the transaction works with the pool and the things going on. It's just, it felt so underwritten, and it was like you spent all this time at the beginning of the movie giving us literally nothing to run to the very end and go, okay, here's everything about it all at the same time. Now let's wrap this thing up in 10 minutes. And it was really irritating. There are some creative shots in this film, and I liked some of the way that the film was presented. There was one sequence in particular where a character was swimming and the camera would like tilt in the way that your head would look in and out of the pool. And I liked some of the attention to detail with the cinematography there. You could tell that the filmmaker was at least trying to do something creative. And there were a couple other shots in the movie that I was like, oh, that actually looks relatively nice. But the problem is, even if there's decent moments of filmmaking, there's nothing here to justify it being a good movie. Even two actors that I really like, Wyatt Russell and Kerry Condon. Kerry Condon recently being in Banshees of Inisherin and giving an incredible performance, and then showing up in this movie. It's absolutely absurd. But as I said, there's enough of a premise here that it should be interesting enough to create something that's worthwhile viewing. And instead what you get is a horrible schlock fest with moments that are hilarious, that are worth watching because of how bad they are scripted and how the performances just come off as ridiculous. And I would say if you're looking for something so bad it's good, this doesn't necessarily hit that mark perfectly, but it's enough that if you're looking for an excuse to go to the theater in January and watch something so absurdly stupid that it'll make you laugh, it's worth it for that very reason. It's not necessarily worth spending a full price ticket on because I have AMC A-List, so I get 3 movies a week. I made this one of my movies. I had a good time with it. I don't feel like I wasted my time. I just think it is a bad movie that has ridiculously absurd moments that made it worth watching. So have you seen Night Swim? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought. I thought this movie was absurdly stupid, ridiculous, and poorly written, but it had a lot of fun, really bad moments. As always, you can like the video and subscribe to the channel. It helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.